Right. Good evening, everyone. We now be starting a session. We'll first be having a small introduction of the VONG movement and the Orion Square. So the Orion Square is an initiative of Mission Foundation, which is a non-profit organization that focuses on nurturing conscious global citizens. Orion Square promoted the VONG movement. VONG stands for Voice of the New Generation, which is about fostering the voice of the new generation to accelerate the adoption of sustainable practices by the global community. The VONG movement helps in building a deeper understanding of global social issues amongst the new generation and enables them to influence the attitude of society through their understanding. They also give opportunities to influence government policies and global initiatives to accelerate adoption and adoption of sustainability in order to protect humanity from the catastrophic consequences that we have right now. It is the aim of our foundation to make young generation people, make people like us realize what the thing is and realize and work towards it. Now we have a very eminent personality with us today over here, Mr. Rahul. I'll be giving a small introduction of him as well. Mr. Rahul was a student of the Fellow Program in Management at the Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal. He was working as a scientific officer at SRTC, Gondwana University. Currently, he's working as an assistant professor at MIT AAT University for MBA in Agribusiness Management. His area of research interests include sustainability, monitoring, and evaluation, climate change and its mitigation, adaptation and impact, sustainable livelihoods, technology adoption, marketing, etc. He has been an active part of NSS, NGOs, and has a good network of development and research community. His interests are in traveling, farming, cricket, film, and so on. It's great to have you with us today, sir. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much for such an information and introduction. I'm very happy to interact with all of you. So
definitely, it's great to have you with us. So now I believe all of the people are eager to start the discussion. So we'll begin with the question answer session. The first question, which is basically nothing but the theme itself. What is segregation? What do we mean by the word segregation?
Segregation, we can simply put it in a language that we have to separate the waste from each other of certain category or type. It may be dry or wet type, it may be plastic, non-plastic, electronic, non-electronic, then it may be like organic, inorganic. So actually, if you look at the case of India, like in India, the population is huge, India, China, and the countries where the population is huge, and it also depend on the lifestyle of the people, what types of goods and services they daily use, what material, what is the lifestyle, also decide the composition of the waste. So in Indian case, actually 40 to 60% waste is of biodegradable type. It means it's organic. It can be degraded by bacteria. It can be degraded by aerobic degradation, which is very of low cost, but needed a lot of space, which is hardly available in cities. So there are pros and cons of each method, and as per country varies, as the lifestyle of the people varies, the composition of waste varies. But we need to segregate, we need to separate these waste, municipal solid waste we are talking here, so that we can actually treat it. Without segregation, it's become very tough for governance or people to have a treatment of it. So as per so everybody understand the importance of segregation. Even government also make a rule, solid waste management rule 2016, and in that rule they clearly mention that waste should be segregated by generator. Generator means creator or consumer. Consumer may be at shop, consumer may be at household level, consumer may be in industry, but here the rule is of solid waste management, municipal solid waste management. So we are talking about household level. So it is duty of citizen to segregate waste as per the law, as per the rule. So they are saying that you should segregate into three categories mainly. Domestic hazardous, biodegradable, and non-biodegradable. These are the main categories, three main categories. And they are also insisting that you should segregate in electronic, non-electronic, plastic, non-plastic, metals, non-metal. It will help to recycle or have a less hazardous material. they are thinking of. And this waste actually should be hand over to the authorized waste pickers. The role of waste pickers is very important in Indian case.
Right.
The waste collector, which are appointed by the municipal corporation to collect waste from the household itself. So these two people are very important, which actually come to your house to gather waste. That is authorized waste pickers, waste collectors, and another one is a waste collector, like the formal person who actually have a duty to collect waste from you. And authorized waste, because some people actually need waste from your house. They sell it, and these in some area they are authorized that this guy actually come to your house and collect waste.
Right.
So decomposition and waste reduction should be encouraged at source level. So India's policy or strategy is to decentralize waste collection or segregation and treat it at source level. So you don't need to take waste from the colony or houses to the long place like dumping sites and treat there. In major like population of city is huge, government had their own problem as well. So government everybody cannot treat their waste at household level, or every colony is not so much organized or so much well constructed or have infrastructure or have time that everybody is not able to treat it at a household level. So there are dumping sites, there are treatment plants, it will never end. But the strategy or the policy or the efforts are in a direction that the maximum waste should be reduced at the source level itself. For example, there are educational institute, colleges, schools, hospital. So hospital can have their own treatment plant, small own treatment plant at hospital. A big school can have their own treatment plant, organic and inorganic treatment at school level. Even national institute has compulsorily actually, even even there is a law that while doing environmental impact assessment of any big educational institute, the biogas plant is compulsory. Not a, we can say compulsory, but they, these are highly recommended things. You should have their own biogas treatment, biogas, and that biogas can be used for cooking food for maize. So the integrated approach should be followed in order to reduce waste at source level itself. Law says that even municipal corporation or the higher officials, government in government, even NGOs, even development organizations are trying to reduce waste at source level itself. So segregation is very important.
Right.
And what we can say in Indian case, the water content is huge in the waste. So water content actually help to degrade or treat organic waste. It is not case with other countries. The water content is comparatively less, and it depends on the population, lifestyle of the population also. So even the sewage treatment, sewage conveyance system in the urban city, that also matter. In the pop, you also, it also depend on the rainfall pattern and so many things.
Right. Definitely.
The strategy of aerobic composting, then one study done by UNDP, United Nations Development Program study, that says that greenhouse emissions from the organic waste that is collected at from household or at dumping site is one of the reason for climate change. So waste handling or treating it in a proper way is one of the strategy to mitigate or adapt towards climate change. So these are options like biogas generation, decomposition, manure making. Use of ICT tool or apps is one of the strategy for efficient governance. GIS, GPS based apps, now ICT based apps can be used for efficient governance in order to find the area where the waste segregation is not good. They can have a plan or strategy to aware the people or build a capacity of a people. Capacity in the sense they can have segregated beans for segregation if there is not. And the consumer itself, consumer means the citizen itself, they can themselves can actually fill the information in the apps. So the governments or government can know, or the official working at a local municipality level can know actually which area don't have the facilities or which area is lacking, and that overall the MIS and management information system and GIS can actually help to have a transparent knowledge or help to transfer the actual condition of status of the local area to the higher authority. So there will be a transparency in the governance itself. So ICT tools, IT, information technology is one of the way to have a good governance for better segregation and collection and treatment. So another things which are very important, the frequency of collection of waste from the household, at least 2 times or 3 times in a week should be the collection. A daily collection is preferred, but if government have a limitation or less amount of fund available, then the at least 2 to 3 times in a week is one of the way. Platform for collection, there are various ways. The one-to-one collection is there from the household. Waste collector comes. Another way is there are beans, community beans, and in which the actually consumer, it means the citizens actually collect waste and dump there in the different bins. And one study various studies actually conducted for willingness to pay. If government don't have sufficient funds, then our community is willing to pay for segregation or treatment at a decentralized level. So people are very supportive regarding this. We can have a specific plan to specific areas. Suppose in the in an area or societies which have a high paying capacity can afford their own treatment, smaller treatment at their own level. So we can have a customized strategy for urban area or management. For area the people can pay, or for area people can't pay, or average willingness to pay, can have a different strategy for treatment or segregation at household level. People are also concerned about the waste handling at dumping sites. So they are not only concerned about the waste at their household level, but they are also concerned about the waste at social places or the public places, we can say. So they are more also concerned that the waste which is collected from our house should be treated well, and it should not be dumped without a treatment or without any possibility of easily degradation in future. So they are concerned more about they are concerned about overall supply chain, and those are actually segregating waste. Those one of my study during my PhD, and also other studies, those who have awareness, bit of knowledge, and actually segregating are more willing to pay for decentralized solid waste management at their colony, at their house, because they are more aware, they have knowledge, they are actually adopting, they are segregating it. So at 3 level they are very good. So they know the importance of this, and that's why they are willing to pay more, like 200 300 rupees more, rupees per month, for a better result. And also the Supreme Court or a National Green Tribunal itself actually said that state can have their own action plan for segregation and like waste collection. So suppose, for example, in Kerala, the rainfall is high, or Western Maharashtra or Eastern Maharashtra and Middle Maharashtra. So in Middle Maharashtra case is different. So as India is very diverse country, have a different climatic zones, the climatic conditions are different. That also matter a lot for waste degradation, collection, and overall supply chain. So it is not only the people and technology, and the other things also matter a lot. So the National Green Tribunal have given a message that every state can have their own, uh, they can have flexibility in regard to the waste segregation, collection, treatment. So that flexibility is provided by National Green Tribunal. So these are some issues related to segregation and treatment. As per my reading, there are so many things, so many studies are available. People are doing fantastic job in some areas, and NGOs are doing good. Government in some areas. I was living in Bhopal as well and Indore as well. So in Indore, the management is at excellent level. Everybody says that, and I also observed it in most of the area. So yes, these are the things. Yeah.
Definitely, sir, definitely. So you talked a lot about the issues, and how we need to segregate waste. So if you could just explain it in brief as well, what is the advantage of segregating solid waste at the source, like at the generator level, as you mentioned, right? So what are the
Mhm.
advantages of segregating soil waste at the generator level itself and not
Mhm.
taking it further into the
Right,
process?
right, right. First of all, it's very difficult to collect it. If you see the condition of the collector, they don't have senses at all. If you observe the people, they are actually collecting it with hands, having gloves. And India, as a developing country, don't have that much infrastructure to provide them a safety. They have to collect it with hands and then put it into a vehicle at many places. In some places, we have to put it and they have to handle after some time. So collection, it's very tough job. It's not easy. Another thing, segregate collection give you chance to treat at source level. You can have your own biogas plant for a colony, and with the help of single pipeline, common pipeline, with the help of same biogas, you can cook a food. So you can save energy as well. Nowadays, the prices of petrol, diesel, and LPGs, so liquid petroleum gas and CNGs, the cost of crude oil is huge. So the biogas is one of the issue, but that should be handled scientifically. That should not lead to the emission of greenhouse gases at a large scale or unhygienic condition. That should not happen. The advanced biogas designs are available, and the technology can play important role in this. You can make compulsory biogas or organic treatment at a colony, newly formed colonies, or the colonies in the people having a paying capacity. You can make it compulsory for them as well. So this is the opportunity, and
Right,
also
definitely.
it actually save the transport cost. If the waste is getting degraded at source level, we don't need to transport huge amount of waste to the sea level or the waste segregation collection and then treatment collection or dumping site. So for transportation, the fuel is high, and the human resource need is high. So it's loss of everything like money, crude oil, and energy, and the energy we are getting from waste. So there are so many things.
Definitely, definitely, sir. Also, we have seen, like as you mentioned, with regards to that, uh, mentioned about how people are not having access to safety equipment of that part. So could you shed some light on regards to, you mentioned about formal garbage collectors, right? Also shed some light on informal or non-authorized collectors of garbage, which usually that's more frequent in our country. I've seen personally. So could you explain that a bit?
So actually, the like incentives you want to give for waste pickers or the recognition of waste picker is very important. The actually more amount of waste is collected from the informal waste collector pickers, and also so other people's also. And I would say that in the form of material, you can give incentives, not in the form of money. In the form of material, in the sense uniforms, gloves, helmet, mask, a very good mask which will have a very good ventilation, like not a suffocation. So a scientific way, in a scientific way. So by considering the overall human health condition, they are also human and they need proper treatment. So if you look at the developed countries, the waste picker will come on the bullet or very high cc bike, and they have the goggles and everything. They will like collect the waste in a very good uniform. They will, after their duty, they will remove that uniform, pack it in bullet or any very high cc bike, and after their duty, you will not be able to recognize him that this is the guy, or she is the person who is a waste collector. You will not recognize it. So the importance is given to them as well. So I think uh, this is very important, that the safety of person. So if that job is not that much hard, then more people will be willing to do that, and actually this will help. Yeah.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. So because now we have talked about how it's important to sort, and how we can do that. The question now arises: how can we promote behavior sorting waste in our society? What can we do? Like, what can the government do? What can we as a youth do individually? And how can we promote this behavior? People do it on their own at a point of time.
Mhm. Actually, we should demand like, so there are suppose 100 people in a colony.
Right.
People are in a colony, and 100 people can actually contribute to have their own separate bins. If the government is not providing, actually people can contribute that at their own level, and they can segregate it. They can actually show it. We have segregated. They can document the process. Now it's a world of ICT and mobile phone and media. They can actually show the before after scenario, that before this was happening, after this is happening. So please come and collect. So these things create a pressure on governance as well, and the media plays important part in this. Actually, people driven things make actually are more successful. Government cannot impose each and everything. They have a lot of things to do. They have very less human resource power. But at least if the demand is from the people, and the people are actually participating in it, and 100 people if contribute for 200 300 rupees, then the waste collection bins, big waste collection bins are can also made available at colony level. So where there is a possibility, the people should actually initiate the things. Like in Ganpati festival, we have very unity. In other religious festivals also, it may be a Muslim, or it may be Christian, it may be both Jain, both they contribute from each household, and have that festival very successful at colony level. So in these scenario, they have very much unity. So in case of waste segregation infrastructure, they should have that initiatives, I think.
Definitely. That is actually there. Next, moving on, we talk about biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Like you mentioned, how India has more biodegradable waste, as which is can be active by bacteria and other natural organisms. We talk about how exactly do they constitute, and why is it important to segregate them? Like, why should we make these two categories, biodegradable and non-biodegradable, and how should we go ahead in like treating them, in segregating them, and then processing them?
Yes, actually, I'm not. Can you repeat it? The remaining part of the question. Can you repeat the
Yeah, so
question?
basically, what do we mean by biodegradable and non-biodegradable wastes, and
Mhm.
why is it important to segregate them in these two categories? How can we segregate them in the categories, and how can we process them further?
Yeah. It's very simple actually. Biodegradable means that is degradable by bacteria or any living thing. It's gonna be like
Right.
actually you just put the any fruit waste in just open space in atmosphere. The bacteria are available. Aerobic degradation, we say it, and with the help of that bacteria, the waste is reduced. So that is biodegradable. And non-biodegradable is it may be the plastic, metals, other things that it cannot be degraded by bacteria. In a very, if you put it in very simple language, it cannot be degraded by bacteria. So what happens if that's 30-40% we get reduced at source level, with at colony, at subzone or subtehsil, without too much transportation, at common place, if it get degraded, then the everything cost is also saved, everything is reducing at large scale. So yeah, so what how this can be done? There are nowadays in 2020 is like the technology is very high. Even the nature based solutions are available now. The currently this word is very famous. There are so many national institute like IRMA is there, architecture colleges are there, and the like environmental research institutes are there, rural development organizations are there. They are working on a lot of NGOs, development professional development organizations, even a government, even a department of science and technology are working on nature based solutions. Nature based solutions means the whatever available in the nature is able to degrade waste. It may be in from water, wastewater, it may be a municipal waste. So how these nature based solution, it they people are using since ages. nature-based
Right.
solutions they are using, and with the help of some aid with the modern technology and traditional technology, that nature-based solution, we can actually do fantastic work in this segment. So it's not compulsory to have a very chemical, using chemical for to degrade waste, or it's not compulsory. We can have a nature-based solutions, and a lot of research is going on this domain currently. The like various research bodies have opened their eyes to look at this sector as well. So, and another things like there are various types of organic decomposers. These are available in books, and technology is already proven. These are taught in every classes. There are so many workshops. What is lacking is the implementation. Actually, the knowledge is there, technology is there since so many time, but what is the problem in the adoption? And it's not only case of solid waste management, or these are the cases in these problems are in education field as well, sports as well, so many things. So problem is in adoption, I think.
Definitely, definitely, that is there. So now, my next question is about how does the concept of segregation, waste management in the broader sense, relate with sustainable development, sustainability in our life, and the 2030 agenda set by the United Nations. How does it relate with that, and how does it serve the bigger purpose of sustainable development?
Hmm. Actually, we should look at this in a holistic way. So first thing, if you open our door, or in house, if there is a lot of waste collected in your room, so your working environment is getting harmed. Another thing, if you open your door of your house, you are going outside. At colony level, if waste is there from 4 to 5 days, automatically it hamper your mental state as well. Again, you travel through bikes, on bike, and through city bus, you go into public places, the waste is there. So I think the livable public places, livable house, livable colony is a right of every citizen. And in every constitution, every directive principle of state policy of any country actually ensure, or I said that citizen has a right, or everybody has a right to have a livable place. Roti, kapda, and makan. Roti, kapda, and makan. Makan should be livable. Okay, that should have a decent environment. So these things directly, indirectly hamper our performance, our mental state. And another thing, how sustainability. If you observe the things which we discussed, like if you are listening carefully, the energy efficiency is improved, then the crude oil consumption is also reduced. Again, climate change, greenhouse emissions is also reduced up to a certain extent. Consumer behavior changes. People if become aware that because of my consumption pattern, the waste is getting higher, or because of my lifestyle, if I'm consuming more, or I'm creating more waste, so they automatically become aware, and they try to control it. So the consumer become aware, people become aware. So directly, indirectly, what we are using, we are using abiotic and biotic resources. Abiotic means soil, water, and air is there. So abiotic resources we are dealing with. It may be food, it may be anything, paper waste. So actually, directly, indirectly, we are dealing with the natural resources. Human need natural resources. Every animal need natural resources. And if the waste is less, the resource is automatically abundant or good. And if you segregate or recycle waste, which is very popularly known in circular economy, it's not only about the waste, it's about any business or supply chain. If waste is less, we can recycle it, reuse it, reduce it, then the actually efficiency of economy increases, the cost of construction reduces, and that actually help us to save our resources, use it efficiently, save our money, and everything. So that is the sustainability.
Definitely, definitely.
Our future generation should have equal opportunity to live like we are living. So that is about sustainability. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, it is indeed correct. And like the point you mentioned with regards to power, crude oil consumption and power energy generation, that is actually very correct. Like we've been seeing in the recent days, we've been having a coal shortage or like a electricity crisis, right? So we've been seeing how that is there. So definitely that is correct. So I just ask you, I'm done with my question. So any conclusion or like message you would like to give to the people listening in or the youth community, or like how they can inspire change, how can they bring in change? Any last message you'll have?
Actually, we don't need to do a lot. I think I am not the much. I don't have much experience in the field. I have just done 1 to 2 studies in the sector. I am not the expert. I am just a learner. I will learn till my death. So that is my nature, and I have publicly accept it. I don't know much, but what we can do is just switch. Like when you are not using things, like suppose currently in your room the fan is working, okay, so right now you need it, but after you go outside your room you don't need it, so switch it off. That is a simple thing. What it is about any resource, not only about electricity. For example, you're not watching TV, make it off. For example, the water is coming to your house through a tap, you don't need it while having brushing the teeth, then please make it off. So these action, simple actions at household level save material, energy, everything, even cost. You don't need to pay more electricity bill for your at your for your house. So these simple things matter. I have seen many intelligent people talking a lot about environment, but they don't follow these simple things. They will talk at
Definitely that.
TED talk, or they will talk to 1,000 people, but they will not switch fan off when they are not using it, or when they don't need to use it. So I think the action speaks very louder than the words. What we are talking have no value if you don't implement it. I think this is very important.
Definitely,
Hmm. The
definitely that's
behavior
very
is
important.
more important than the knowledge or skills you have. If you are not implementing, if I am not implementing, I'm not switching fan off when I'm not using, there is no point in talking. Yeah.
Definitely, that's right. We need to transform our words, our thoughts into reality, into action. That is correct.
Yes,
Very
yes,
well
that will
put.
be. Mm. This is the this is the first. This is the
So,
very
with
important.
that,
Other things are
Anirudh, do
there.
you have a question?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Definitely. Right. Anirudh, yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Uh, yeah, there is one question about it's about the technicality here. So when we are moving towards the revolution of the EVs here. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. E-vehicle. You are saying you are. We are moving toward e-vehicle or
Yeah,
using. Yeah.
the biggest hurdle is about the recycling of the batteries here. So
Yes.
how much it is possible to recycle their batteries, or you can say to use
Mhm.
their materials to the
Yes,
different uses?
actually, this is very popular question, and I have attended so many workshop, and same question has been asked by so many people. It's not a like a difficult question or new question, and the answer given is also somewhat similar, but there are various angles to it. Like for example, you said that the batteries we are using, can you recycle it? The same I would like to ask: we are using nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, waste of nuclear energy is harmful. Okay, but with the provided with the technology, a very good technology can control or degrade that nuclear waste if handled very well. So the nuclear energy don't have any problem if handled well. If you handle waste well, then it don't have any problem. Similar with the batteries. If you say hydroelectric power like is giving you electricity, and with the help of that, if the batteries are charged, I know most of the electricity generated through coal, but there are alternative like solar energy is there, hydroelectric power is there, nuclear power is there. So in many countries, like if you look at the example of France, I think the 30-40% of energy is not from non-coal. I think more than that. I have to check the number, but I think around 30-40% is non-coal based electricity. So for them, it is very good. Indirectly, they are not using coal. And for another thing, you mentioned that the processing or treatment of batteries. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So the same applies, whatever applies for atomic nuclear energy, same apply for batteries. If we have a technology to treat it well, if we handle it very carefully, so I think it should not be issue. But we need to handle it very carefully. We need a technology to handle waste. And if you see, the currently we are not able to handle the organic and inorganic and plastic and non-plastic. So forget about the batteries. But yes, there is a solution for everything, and we need to have infrastructure to treat this battery very well before launching the vehicle, or before actually looking for large scale adoption of the vehicle, electric vehicles. We should have infrastructure to charge the batteries, to treat the batteries. We should have mechanism. We should have monetary deposits, like deposit in the form of money, that if you return a battery, you'll get some return monetary benefits. This kind of initiative or strategy can be done. There are so many strategies, like if you have a free water, you cannot use it carefully. If you have 1 rupees per liter, a single 1 rupees per liter for drinking water, you will use it carefully. Because why? If there is a money, people care. If there is no money, there is no tax, people don't care. Well, this is general observation.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you Anil, for a great question. And yes, that's actually very true with regards to how the government should take in steps for the people returning the batteries. I believe this was actually done somewhere with the bottle thing in some country where the people were returning the bottles after they had drank a soft drink, and they got a certain refund of their amount. But it's a very great and innovative idea to deal with the issue of recycling and the entire issue of sustainability. Definitely. So, with that, we're coming to the conclusion of the session. I just like to ask you now for the final question, like your view, your opinion, your take, and what we can improve in the future, and what do you think the Wong movement is doing, and like how about that?
Yeah, actually, inviting guest for speaking is a good idea. I will not deny it, but I think you should contribute. You should actually collaborate with a lot of people. Collaboration and networking is one of the way, with organization which have a better reach, which are actually working on the ground, entrepreneurs which are actually using nature-based solution or any other technology and all that. You should actually you should focus, your organization's focus should be more on networking and collaborating. In today's world, without communication, without networking and collaborating with the good people, with the skillful people, with the people in your area, it's very tough to have an impact. And this is the thing I would like to suggest. You're doing fantastic job, but I would suggest to have a very good network and communication, collaboration. This is very important.
Definitely, so definitely. Thanks for the feedback, and we'll definitely work on that and improve ourselves, that we are able to make our aspirations, make our objectives into reality. And thank you, sir, for coming in. It's been great having you here with us, and it was indeed a pleasure to have you. And I believe all of us learned a lot with regards to waste management, sustainability, and like basically everything on the topic. So thank you for coming in.
One thing I would like to mention is these
Yes,
are
sir.
my personal views based on my some studies or readings.
Definitely,
I may
definitely.
be wrong in some cases. It's not compulsory that I am right what I'm speaking. So yeah, there is some individualism is there. So I may not, everybody cannot be 100% correct. And I'm
Definitely,
very
sir,
happy
definitely.
that you invited me to speak and have interaction. It's very good for me also to know the opinion of yours. A very good question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. It was great to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
One second.
Stop the meeting.